true knowledge is essential. The nature of true knowledge is pure being. In true knowledge lies peace and liberation. Such knowledge is non-objective in its character. Therefore, the Maharshi has emphasized that one should know that one is the self, and not merely think, I am the self. One should know the I, which is Brahman, and not merely think, I am Brahman. One should know that I am all that there is, and not merely think, all this is Brahman or all this is the self. Real knowledge is non-objective. When we think about something, there is always something. One's thoughts are always objective and seem to shine only by the reflected light of consciousness, which is real knowledge. Self-knowledge has nothing to do with thinking. It is neither thinking of something nor is it trying to think of nothing. It is the non-objective, hence thought transcendent, awareness of one's own nature. Whatever you would think of the self, it is not that. Who you are is inconceivable. You have never thought of yourself, nor will you ever think of yourself. What you are is forever non-objective. The non-objective is the eternal. Self-realization consists of such non-objective knowledge, and consequently, it also is eternal. If it is eternal, it is not lost at one time and attained at another, but rather is quite beyond such considerations. For to speak of it as such would be like saying, I exist at one time, but I don't exist at another. The inquiry to know who you are consists of the very knowledge itself. Who am I? It is not thinking about who I am. It is knowing who I am. Within the context of thought, there are ever so many possible states and conditions, ranging from the sensory, which are a kind of thought, for they are only in the mind, to that which is more subtle. But you are not any of that. Nor are you in any of that. The non-objective never takes up a habitation in the objective. That is, the real does not take up a home in the unreal. Knowledge reveals, the inquiry reveals. Inquiring to determine your own nature. Do not so much try to think about yourself, rather discard all thought as being superfluous, utterly incapable of defining what in truth you are. Knowledge is not thought, knowledge is not gained by thought, just as it is not a sense perception and is not gained by the senses. Inquiry does not start with a thought. It certainly does not end with a thought. Its substance, its light, its purpose, its goal is only this knowledge. It is called knowledge, but it is not knowing of something. Nor in truth can it be divided into the duality of I know, I do not know, or ignorance and knowledge as they are commonly understood. With what light do you know yourself? By what means do you know that you exist, even now? What is it that has known everything there is to be known, inclusive of all thought, yet has never been known by any of that? To consider yourself as if on one side of the wall of thought, and the self to be found on the other side of it, is just another thought. So if you would have that conception, it should be utterly abandoned. As the Maharshi frequently instructed, for whom are the thoughts? Knowledge is of the very nature of the self. What can be said about the self? It exists. This cannot be said of anything else. It exists. Because the ideas of anything else are entirely based upon misidentification, the confusion regarding the nature of yourself, the inquiry aims, the knowledge aims, in practice, at the destruction of such misidentification. If misidentification ceases, bondage is found to be entirely unreal. There is no scope for ignorance, and the samsara does not exist. Therefore, knowledge consists of knowing your identity to be only that, the self, and nothing but that. The dissolution of misidentification, or we may say the absorption of one's identity in that, as that itself. Such is the knowledge. Who could possibly think of this?